The Manhattan night was like impenetrable silk. The temperature plummeted in New York City after the onset of winter. Even before the snow fell, the wind was already seeping in through every crack in the doors and windows. Haley finished her workday and trudged wearily back to her villa, her shadow stretched thin under the streetlights, shuffled her coat tightly around her, her heart a tangled mess. The recent rumors were getting more and more intense. The whispers of her colleagues in the cafe, Brandon's gentle overtures, Alexander's alienation, and, attention, Linda's sighs, Eric's indifference. Each little thing was like a pebble hitting the lake of her heart, stirring up ripples and making it difficult for her to sleep. That evening, a sudden downpour arrived. Lightning and thunder roared across sky, and the wind rattled windows. As soon as she opened the door, the entire villa was plunged into darkness. The power was out, and the only sounds were the wind, rain, and occasional thunder. Oh no, the power went off. Linda shouted in the kitchen and groped in the dark for an emergency flashlight. Haley instinctively pulled out her phone, only to find the signal was intermittent. In the yard, several flashlight beams flickered in the rain. As a security guard checked the distribution box, she tried to calm down, but she felt an inexplicable uneasiness. Heavy footsteps came from the stairs. Haley turned around and saw Alexander coming down from upstairs. He was wearing home clothes and had a serious expression on his face. Don't be afraid, it's just a temporary power outage, he whispered soothingly. I've sent someone to check the wiring. Would you like some hot tea? Haley subconsciously take care of him? I can't boil water yet. Alexander forced a smile. Go to the living room and stay there. The two of them sat in the darkness, the embers of the fireplace emitting a faint orange glow, and the air was filled with the aroma of burning wood. Haley clutched her knees, trying to stop herself from thinking about the rumors and speculations, but after she calmed down all the doubts and grievances, and her heart had nowhere to hide. Are you very tired lately? She asked cautiously. Alexander was silent for a moment, then nodded. Something's been bothering me, Richard's threats, Brandon's interference, and all those rumors out there. Would you care? Of course I care. He suddenly looked at her, a hint of hurt and vulnerability in his eyes. But I care about you more. Haley's nose felt sore, and she whispered, but I'm also afraid that I'm just being protected, not truly needed. Alexander lowered his head and smiled bitterly. You don't understand. Sometimes I'm even more scared than you are. Haley mustered up her courage and whispered, if you weren't afraid of anything, you wouldn't be sitting here alone in the middle of the night. Alexander was slightly startled, then suddenly reached out and gently held her in his arms. Under the cover of darkness and storm, they seemed to have finally dropped all pretenses, leaving only each other's body warmth. Haley leaned on his chest, listening to his rapid heartbeat, and felt that all her grievances and fears had found an outlet. Don't be afraid, no matter what happens outside, I'm always by your side. Alexander whispered, I believe you. Haley closed her eyes and responded actively. For the first time, outside, the wind and rain raged. Yet inside the house, silence fell. Time seemed to freeze at this moment. The two of them were immersed in a gentle silence, neither wanting to disturb the peace. Suddenly, there was a rapid knock on the door upstairs, breaking the brief silence. Who is it? Alexander became alert. It's me, Eric. The man's deep voice came through the door. There's a problem with the transformer outside. We might have no power tonight. We also saw someone wandering around outside the wall. Alexander's face darkened. Who? Not sure. He doesn't look like a reporter. He looks more like he's scouting the area, Eric replied. Haley's heart tightened, and all her sense of security seemed to be blown away by the wind. Alexander patted their shoulder and whispered soothingly, don't worry, I'm here. Can I help? Haley asked subconsciously. You've done enough. Alexander smiled and gently smoothed her messy hair. Just stay here tonight and don't worry about anything. Eric gave a few more instructions and left, and Alexander closed the door. That Woe continued to sit in front of the fireplace, listening to the wind, rain outside, but each of them had his own thoughts in his heart. Late at night, Haley still couldn't sleep. She returned to her room, lit a candle, and kept replaying the scenes of tonight in her mind. Darkness, embrace, confession, danger, the wanderer outside, each of them made her both afraid and eager. At this moment, the phone suddenly vibrated, and an unfamiliar text message popped up on the screen. Not everyone in the dark can be trusted. We can see your little secret clearly. She jumped up, walked to the window, and closed the curtains. A strong sense of unease washed over her. Who was secretly watching her? Who had been stirring up this storm? She instinctively wanted to go find Alexander, but she was afraid of appearing too weak. But at this moment, there was a gentle knock on the door. It's me. Alexander's voice was low. She opened the door, and there he was standing in the hallway, holding a candle. I can't sleep. Either. Are you okay? He asked with concern. Haley hesitated and nodded slightly. Alexander came in and sat beside her bed. And the two of them once again fell into a quiet gaze. Haley finally couldn't help herself and handed him the text message she received tonight. Alexander stared at the screen, his face darkening. It seems someone has been secretly watching us. Will you regret leaving me here? Haley asked in a low voice. No, Alexander said firmly, I never regretted trusting you, it's just, I couldn't forgive myself if you were ever hurt. Haley's heart warmed, tears welling up in her eyes. I will protect myself. Andy will protect you too. Alexander reached out and hugged her, and the two relied on each other in the darkness and wind and rain. In the morning, the rain finally stopped, the power was restored, and the villa was lit and warm again. Haley woke from a short sleep to find Alexander still sitting by her bed. Watching over her, she smiled and said to him, I will never forget the darkness of last night. Alexander held her hand and said solemnly, no matter how many storms there are in the future, we'll bear them with you. The morning light from outside the window shines through the glass. And everything looks brand new. But Haley knew in her heart that the real test had just begun.
Please stay tuned for the next episode.
See you there.